right, we're going to move on to our next team, the defending AFC North champions. That is the Baltimore Ravens, who went 12-5 last year, with Lamar Jackson having one of his best seasons ever. Wow, two-time Super Bowl, two-time MVP winner. Probably most complete he ever played was last year. Derrick Henry came in, stampeded on everybody. We had them all as a top 2 offense. Matt had them as their number 1 offense in the NFL on our top 10 offensive show. Matt, what are you focusing on with the Baltimore Ravens and this kind of juggernaut offense that I'm actually still pretty high on as I kind of did this process? We are top 2 offense. Yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah, I'm interested in just like the overall continuity of the unit, right? They're only really sprinkling in like DeAndre Hopkins as the third receiver. I thought it was funny. Todd Monken from training camp this week said, having DeAndre Hopkins here makes me want to kind of play a little bit more. We might play a little bit more 11 personnel, but I also view Charlie Kolar as a starter. So can't really have it both ways there. Charlie Kolar would be their second tight end opening the season because Isaiah Likely's probably going to miss some time. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I had them as a number 1 ranked offense is just the overall continuity and like a sprinkling of DeAndre Hopkins. Do they get one of the other kind of backup running backs a little bit more involved? Because Derrick Henry, I mean, we're all just penciling him in to like beat Father Time again because he just continues to be the guy that beats Father Time. But it is undefeated in the end. There will be a drop. And I mean, I think he could decline from what he was last year and still be like one of the best running backs in the NFL because he was just like outrageously explosive last year. So yeah, I mean, just little minor tweaks interior of the offensive line, right? They lose Patrick McCarry, Roger Rosengarten in his second season at right tackle. It's just like the little things here. Like this is honestly, and frankly, on both sides of the ball, this is true, right? It's just can a couple of little things here or there make the difference in big games, because like who really cares what this offense does in September and October? We really care about what they're doing in January.
That's really it. Yeah, it's not more the regular season questions, it's the January questions and January answers that we want to see. Charles, how about yourself? What are you focusing on with this Baltimore Ravens offense that you had ranked so highly?
Man, I guess I just want to see what the next step of like their offensive cohesion looks like, because I think I was pretty low in the offensive line last year. They overperformed. Then you got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry behind one of the best rushing offenses that we've seen in NFL history. So I think just based on what they did last year, like I look at this offensive line, I'm just like, you could definitely improve some of the personnel up here. I think especially on the interior, but it's gonna be good enough as long as Lamar and Derrick Henry are healthy. Now it's just I want to see the expansion of the passing game, and specifically, I guess, Rashod Bateman and how he continues to develop, because they keep extending him. I think if you're a more casual fan of the NFL, you might be a little surprised at why the Ravens keep adding years onto his contract.
Not us, damn it!
Right,
not us.
Not football 301.
Not football 301. Not us. That's right. Yeah, he's a really talented guy, really explosive guy. And I went back.
Hell yeah, Charles.
Really is. And I went back and I watched just some of Lamar's deep throws and just general throws in general to Rashod Bateman last year. And man, like Rashod helped him sometimes as much as Lamar helped Rashod. Like this is a really, really good duo when they got going. So let's just hope that like he can stay on the field and stay a part of the passing game, because it's really easy to see why they keep bringing him back and why they want him here for the long term. It's a really talented dude, and maybe he can be their number 1 receiver that they've really, really been searching for.
Let's go. I wasn't going to bring him up first. I was going to let somebody else do it.
I wasn't either. I thought Matt would break the seal. So, yeah, the Rashod Bateman seal. Yeah. And honestly, even Matt's point, they brought in DeAndre Hopkins. It's like, I didn't like DeAndre Hopkins for the Chiefs, because they had no team speed. But for the Ravens, they have the speed at receiver. So Hopkins being a big burly guy for him and not running past 8 yards, I'm actually fine with that. Like, because I think that's what this offense needs. They kind of need that big ball winner, and he's the three, essentially in this offense. It's kind of a little bit split everywhere. But no, just this offense is so explosive. So what you're saying, Charles, like what's the next layer? What's the next step for them? What's the next iteration? With Isaiah likely being out, they do so much curious stuff with their personnel anyway. So I'm like, okay, what do you got, Monken? Like, what are you cooking up over there? And where's Patrick Ricard lining up on this play? Super excited about Bateman. I just felt like Lamar, it was weird. Him and Lamar kind of never seemed like they're on the same page. Rashod would drop something. Lamar wouldn't look his way. And it felt like the second half of last year, and I didn't really even see a stat split that lined up with this. This is just eye test. It felt like the second half of last year, he finally was like, no, I'm going his way. I'm on a scramble drill. Where's Bateman at? Okay, there he is. I'm going to go find him because he is such an explosive player, good route runner. That's the guy I just really want to see. I just had to bring up some Derrick Henry and run game stats. This offense is bringing back Keaton Mitchell too from injury. We talked about him on the top 10 offensive show, but he's more of a scat back and maybe spell in here a little bit. But last year, the Ravens had 68 explosive runs. So that's runs of 12 or more yards. The Raiders had 19. 68 is first, by the way, easily first. They had as many explosive runs last year as the Chiefs, Browns, Commanders, Giants, and Patriots had explosive passes. It's extraordinary. Like, you're not going to see a run game that explosive. They had more plays of 10 or more yards last year. A quarter of their plays went for 10 or more yards last year total, not just run game, but pass game included. It's easily the highest of the Ravens since Lamar's been starting. Usually hovers around 21%. They averaged highest 4 or more yards per play, like how many plays that they had gained 4 or more yards. This offense is just so explosive now. They had 160 total explosive plays last year. It's the third most by any NFL offense since 2012, behind only the 2013 Eagles, shout out Chip, and the 2023 49ers. It's just like it's hard. It's like, can you sustain that? They can come close. Are they going to get to 160? I don't know, but it's not like where I'm going like they'll never reach that again. It's like, no, actually they're going to have some answers to get there. So really just want to reiterate what you guys are saying. Just excited to kind of see what this next step of this offense is, how they use their personnel, all that good stuff, because they got a really, really talented backfield and other players as well. Defensively, another unit we're high on. Consensus top 4 defense for us on Football 301. All of us had it in the top 4. They really made a lot of growth. I'll say this one more time. They really came along in the last half of the season, last quarter of the season after week 11. They had a Thursday night game. They had a mini bye, made some defensive changes, put Kyle Hamilton on the back end, did some other things on the back end, started playing some other players as well on the front side. But turn into the best unit or one of the best units in the league, or top 3 unit, I should say. The Eagles defense was pretty dang good too. But let's watching this Ravens defense. How do we feel about them? What are you focusing on, Matt? Can they kind of continue that trend upwards that they showed last year?
Yeah, to me, it's the perimeter cornerbacks, right? I think that's what, and honestly, Jair Alexander might be a make or break player for them, although I don't even know that they need him to be like out there to still be a very good defense, because they got some depth, right? They signed Uzier in the offseason who, isn't coming off like, he's not in his prime or anything like that, but I think he's still like a guy that you can play at cornerback and it's solid. Nate Wiggins was really good down the stretch last year, and they're very, very excited about him in training camp. So can this room be, because at times last year it was a secondary that you could pick on, right? It was definitely a unit that like, all right, you can, Brandon Stevens, decent coverage player, but can't track the football, gave up a lot of big plays down the field. Like Wiggins is a guy that I think plays the football pretty well and like and kind of can get himself into positions at the catch point. That might be a significant upgrade. Obviously, if Jair Alexander's the player that he can be when he's on the field, that's a big win for this team too. So the corners to me are something that, like, I know what the front 7 is, and maybe they could use a little more juice there, but to me, I do think that really that cornerback room is going to make or break this team.
Yeah, it's got a lot of talent. If they're healthy, it's a lot of talent on that back end with a pretty stout front end. That just always sounds weird when I say it like that. Charles, with the Ravens defense, what are you focusing on? I know we talked a little bit maybe about pressure. Can they generate it? Can get that consistent pass rush? Is that still something you're kind of focusing on with them as well?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they're always just going to be a team that likes to send funky stuff, and it just kind of seems like that's been the ethos of their defense for
20 some years since they moved to
20-something years. Yeah, I mean, dude, if you think about some of the play calls they've had, like Dean Pease, Mike McDonald, now Zach Orr, and other guys, Rex Ryan. I mean, these guys are always
Marvin Lewis. Right. Yeah, I know.
So it's always going to be a little funky, which I think it probably suits this front four well, because you got Nnamdi Madubuike, who's a stud. I mean, that guy can drive defensive line play by himself. Adopte Owe has really developed into being like a nice complementary player. I think he had 10 sacks last season. So like he's coming into his own as one of those guys where he's just so fast that if things get muddied up, he's usually there to finish the play. They still need to, I think, to work on just like winning some one-on-one matchups a little bit more. But as long as those guys can get up the field, like this defense is going to be sick. Like I don't even think you need Jair Alexander to play the whole season. If you can just get a hit on Malaki Starks, and you can have maybe one of the better safety tandems in the league right away. I mean, that defense is going to be, the secondary is going to be locked down. Roquan Smith played better towards the back end of last season. You got a star defensive tackle, some cleanup guys up front. Even Travis Jones is another solid defensive tackle that they have that's really developed over the last few years. So, I mean, every level of this defense, there's like legitimate stars. But like Matt said, like that secondary, that could be like a really, really special unit if all those guys hit like they're supposed to.
Especially how they're kind of using him too. Like at the end of last year, speaking of Dean Pease, he's on the staff as well. And you just see that's why the Starks draft pick is so like, I think why we won't all stop shutting up about it because it's like, yeah, of course the Ravens take him. It's perfect. Like it couldn't be a better fit for what I think they want to do and how he fits in because they do so much funky stuff. And then you got him, Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey. All of them can play the slot. And all of them can kind of invert and so when I say invert, that's essentially the safety is coming to do what a corner does and the corner is doing what a safety does. That's when I say invert, that's what I mean. You need safeties that are very aware and very can be in uncomfortable spots because you're kind of put on an island when you have to do these things. So you need a guy that's very aware and you need corners with ball skills because you're going to get a lot of opportunities here. But that's why I'm glad you brought up the Nate Wiggins, but Jair Alexander could be that as well. And the back end of a defense, the back five is much like an offensive line. It really helps to have versatility. It's just not a lot of guys have that. I keep bringing up 3 guys can play the slot, but say Jair Alexander plays 12 games and gets hurt for a month. All right, we can put Marlon Humphrey outside and we can put Starks or Hamilton into the slot. And now they can go to a backup. They can pick and choose who the backup is that they want to play, who can do the most of the backups that we have. That's really nice to have when you have that just little bit of versatility. But yeah, just what you guys saying. This is a defense that from week 11 onwards, when they shifted their defenders around, was first in EPA per play, first in passing success rate, first in EPA per pass allowed. Their run defense was the best run defense in the NFL last year throughout the entire season, not even after the week 11 shift. They were first in explosive runs allowed, 5% explosive runs allowed. I meant to look this up, like historically where that stands, but you rarely see that. Like that is like you have Vita Vea playing all 4 spots, playing for you when you're defending the run. First in rushing suplex rate. But again, they just got a lot of answers. I want to see, hopefully, like Charles said, maybe they can win some more one-on-ones up front. Owe keeps improving. They still got Madubuike. They added Mike Green out of Marshall in the second round. He has the off-field stuff, but he's got some real juice. I had him as a top 15 talent in this draft class because he's just a real, even if he ends up just being a designated pass rusher, that's exactly what this defense needs. They need a guy that can just pull the bow back and let the arrow fly and just get after that quarterback. So, that's really what I'm focused on. Is like, can they just keep that trend going and how they use the back end of the defense? And I think it's going to be good things from this Ravens defense. That's why I'm high on the entire team.